Whoa, party atop slackers.
That may have been a bit too much on my part.
Hey there, guys. What's up? It is Animanga, and I am back for the first 5Ds tournament in What If series. We are now in the 5Ds era. So, get ready. Get your bikes out. Time to be. Let's see who the Master Fasta is. And we have 35 duelists in this first tournament known as the Satellite Slums. So, obviously, an event that we all well know at this point called Zero Reverse happens and basically, screws some things up. It definitely not exactly, it's not going to be even near exactly the same as what happened in the 5Ds anime, but Zero Reverse does happen, and basically the world is split, and especially most importantly Domino City is split. So now we have New Domino City and we have the Satellite Slums. Now I understand Satellite was part of in the anime, I think it was part of the rich side too, or the nice side, but I'm changing it. This is What If series. This is not the 5Ds anime. So let's get started with Jamie Jim's characters. And first up is Justice. Justice was wondering how the people in the slums felt about him as king, so he decided to visit and bring his knights to not only survey, but to meet the people and hopefully look good for them. He hopes they didn't see him beat up that one reporter. Yeah, well, that was a while ago before Zero Reverse. Okay, guy. He gets to meet an old man who can help him with a project he is working on. I bet I know which old man this is. Next is the first new character and one of Justice's 5 girl knights, who are supposed to be super strong and obviously part of his cult. They're the ones surveying the slums. Samantha Smart. Samantha Smart is the oldest sister of the all-female knight group, whose job it is to protect Justice. She can be quite hard to interact with her ice cold replies and her stern and serious tone. The more she gets to know you, the more she will let down her frozen walls. She is very protective of her sisters and Justice, and sometimes is seen standing outside his room while he sleeps or is working. Justice asked for her and her sisters to come with him to the slums, which she happily agreed to. She wants everyone to know how great Justice is and how good a king he really is as well. Next, Juno Dash. Juno Dash, the youngest and more hyperactive knight sister of the 5. She's very fast and agile and loves to meet people. She can be a little bit too close when talking, and oh god, she's a close talker, and she never stops moving. It's like that Seinfeld episode, The Close Talker. She is also a prankster. Oh god, how many pranksters does Jamie Gems, will into reality? Sorry, I need some water. She's also a prankster, pranking either one of the royal family. That wasn't a period. Pranking either one of the royal family, the guards, or even her sisters. But mostly it's Justice, since he at the moment is never really paying attention. which has Justice now understanding how his brother's victims felt. Well, victims, mainly victim Crowler. You're probably wondering where Crowler is, and I'll explain that later in another tournament, but not this tournament. She always makes it up to him, though, and never means harm. Justice pleads with her not to prank anyone in the slums, but of course she ain't listening. Savannah Salamandra. Savannah Salamandra is the middle sister of the Five Knights and is a hot head. She normally uses that anger to help her win duels. She normally needs to be calmed down by her other sisters. Justice normally has to watch what he says to her because he's afraid he will upset her. She's also slowly dealing with her anger issues, though, and is seeing a therapist. So the cult has therapy? Can they hire SOB? She gets along just fine with Angelica, though. She is trying to stay calm to look good for Justice, but something about, it's just a miswording, sorry. But something about that snickering old guy ticks her off. Next, Lily Lumastic. Lily Lumastic, the second oldest sister of the Five Night Girls, is very quiet and shy, and normally people underestimate her in duels, which end up screwing them over. That happens a lot in this series, I'm just going to be honest. She's an excellent duelist and is just as protective of Justice as the others. She likes to follow him around a lot, which normally he was okay with, but now sometimes during the day he asks to be left alone, which she respects and gives him distance. Very interested in the slums and feels very protective to all the kids there. Aw, so she likes the poor kids. That's cool. Ah, here she is. And the final sister and the sixth member of Jammy's crew for this week, Rosaria Blaze. Rosaria Blaze, the second youngest sister of the Knights and the most calm and relaxed one. She is really good at de-escalating situations. She really loves nature and going on walks. Most of the time, she goes into the spirit world to spend time with all the dual spirits and settle arguments. Well, with Zero Reverse, didn't this split the spirit world and the human world? Just saying. Even though they were merged, now don't they get split up again because of Zero Reverse? That'll have to be fleshed out by Jamie Jams and me. She gets along with Maid Luna well. Oh, she survived in this lore? I wonder by the way, with Zero Reverse, the casualties are very high again. Again, I know. But I mean, it wiped out half the world's population, let's just say, and a lot of the population is living in New Domino and the slums. So yeah. She gets along well with Maid Luna. She's very interested in the crow fella that she met in the slums. Crow. Too bad he's not in this tournament. So next up is Christopher Shadow. We're starting Night Shroud's crew. Prior to current events in the slums, Chris was asked by Justice to join his group. Joining a cult. That doesn't ever happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! He decided to join since he found out Lee was joining and knew Lee was up to something. Chris was concerned too about Justice, but also since Angelica spoke with him, since he could find certain dragon info by joining Justice's group. And also, she asked him to keep a close eye on Justice out of concern. Okay. And also the fact wait. And also the fact Jamie on Discord asked Night Shroud to join in. Lol. You put that in, didn't you? He is using Thunder Arm Dragons since he wanted to try out cool dragons, but also the fact that they were the cards Justice yeeted into the ocean long ago. So it's Chris's duty to help these said dragon spirits to let out. So it's Chris's duty to let out these dragon spirits out of their anger and settle things. I had to word it differently. and also hoping he at least wins one freaking duel on screen. Come on, dude. Everyone deals with this. You will eventually win a duel on screen. It's inevitable. No one goes winless. Now, Justice sent some members to check out the slums and hopefully see what's up. Here's hoping nothing too weird is going on. Pretty sure the mess from R has reached here too. Uh, no. I don't think it has. Well, what do you mean mess? Do you mean characters? But it could be characters, but the lore has nothing to do with this plot. Because this is we're in 5Ds now. So, I mean, it could. I'm not sure exactly what you mean though, but that's Christopher Shadow. Spike the Dragon. Quite a lot has happened since the events of the Academy. Hold on, I'm reading through this. Spike is basically now part of the Young Six, which is obviously part of that group he had in that last tournament, and dating Smolder and Oculus. He's dating, oh, well, it's the Young Seven now, of course, and dating Smolder and Oculus at the same time? What the heck? They had plenty of more shenanigans, and now that Chris ended up joining Justice's group, Spike and the others ended up spying and watching due to being concerned. But after caught and apparently got tested by Justice's group, aka Colt, they happened to win and allowed to help Chris out on missions. Though what's crazy is how when Spike dueled Rosaria, another powerful dragon showed up in his deck, which gave him access to synchro summoning, which got him the win. Now he's helping Chris, Martlet, and the new Dino friend in checking out the slums to survey. But Spike is about to meet another old friend that he would surely be happy to see again if the shenanigans don't wreck up the slums. Yeah, we're hardly talking about the bikes, the new age technology, and the fact that synchro cards just show up out of nowhere. We're not even mentioning that. But obviously it has something to do with Zero Reverse with that last part. Is anyone a biker here? A pro biker? Mao Tasuki. Mao has been continuing more on his research into dual monsters and dimensional energies, though he suspects some very crazy stuff is about to happen soon. He began spying on Justice's group by hiding behind a conveniently shaped lamp that looked just like him, because he suspects something is very off with Justice, but also to keep up with Spike, who continues to intrigue him as such as the strange energies he is having, especially with apparently powerful dragons keep showing up in the little fella's deck. Now he is tagging along in the slums with Spike and Chris's crew as they help Justice group check out the area. He suspects Zachary might or might not have caused that mess with what he did in the past during Evil Novo's mess. So, is this the official lore? The Evil Novo tournament, the old school tournament, when Zachary changed the future, this is what happens? He's the cause of Zero Reverse. Because I think it's in Lego's lore too, that he's basically the cause of Zero Reverse. Is this what we're going with? Y'all tell me. I'm fine with it. I just need to know. Mal hopes MD will freaking cooperate and let his deck shine instead of suffering the voiceless voice curse. Hey, that ain't right. She's dead. That was a mean jab right there. She's dead. Come on, man. Have some class. At least win a duel. I mean, come on. Drytrans are cool. Let them cook. I mean, they're fine. Martlet. Martlet decided to join up since he saw Chris was joining up with Justice's group, and is now with him and his friends in investigating the slums with the other fellow members Justice sent. She is also in awe of the royal knights that Justice has, since she herself is a royal guard. She has updated her deck. to incorporate his new synchro summoning. This new synchro summoning. Finally, someone mentions it. She strangely feels like she would be remembering something but not. But she enjoys hanging out with Chris and his equestrian friends and Durgan spirits. The dang Durgan. But she and Chris could have sworn they saw some sort of fellow burb gal or bird gal wandering around, but said gal kept vanishing. Okay. New character, and I passed him. There he is. Devil Dinosaur. Wait a second. I need some water. Okay. Devil Dinosaur. A strange yet wholesome dinosaur. He does not look wholesome. That just barges into Justice's group meeting prior. And also can apparently duel too. With those tiny arms, how do you fit a duelist on it? Oh wait, how does he ride a bike? Everyone has to ride a bike and duel here. Well, not necessarily. They do standing duels. Turns out he's a partner with a superhero in another world, but got separated due to being brought into our world from Yako's shenanigans during R. Oh, is this what is involved? This is what it is. How R is involved. Oh, this wholesome fella was actually seeking Chris's help and left a hilarious mess along the way for quite a while. And apparently he can talk sometimes. Well, it helps in duels, just playing the card, the opponent will know what the heck is happening. And able to change size at will. That says while, but able to change size at will. So Chris just gained a dino friend. And Justice basically got an awesome dinosaur to help his group, apparently. Yay! Welp, here's hoping he won't be making a ruckus while they are surveying the slums. Too late for that. And next, Gabby the Griffin, the final character of Night Shroud's crew today. A cheerful, kind, and considerate, and also adorable griffin that worked as a male gal back in Spike's world. She also happens to be Spike's pen pal, that then they met in person quite a bit prior to the whole dimension mess happening. They formed quite a bond, and seems like Gabby wanted to be around him more due to how similar they feel. Seeing how Gabby might be too developed with her feelings for him due to how there's a lot of do's, how she and Spike were happy to see each other. Smolder and Ocelus are probably gonna welcome her in. Well, that's always nice. Everyone needs a good old welcome. They like the cute floofy gal, and after she ended up in our world, Crow found her, and she was helping him around with stuff ever since. Seeing the state in the slums reminded her of how bad things how bad things are at the Griffinstone in her world. She feels great empathy for the people and hopes she can help fix things up. Hopefully finding others from Spike's world too. So, that is our lore from Night Shroud. And that is me taking a drink. I'm taking a drink. Okay, Serenity. Now, all 5 of her... Now, remember, she's the only one I believe that has 5 characters. Everyone else has 6. But Serenity has 5, because I think they posted their lore before I'd said that stuff, where it could be 6. But Serenity didn't care, I guess. They just wanted 5. It's fine. So their 5 are Mayumi Hayashibara. If I said that right. Hayashibara. Serenity. Mitch-chan. Casey. And Elf Valkyria. And now they all share the same lore. Mayumi, Serenity, and Mitch-chan head to New Domino City for a new adventure. They're confused when they see these white cards everywhere. They're more silver, whitish, not just white, but don't really think too much of it. Mitch Chan makes a comment that these cards look strong, but playing them will completely throw off their balance. Better stick to with what they know. No, no disrespect there. I love that. I mean, being an old school fan myself. Better to stick with what they know. Yeah, Casey and Lexi join them with Elf Valkyria dueling in Lexi's stead. Lexi is a bit more abrasive when it comes to how fast the duels here are. Casey and Lexi wonder if dueling on surfboards is possible after seeing turbo dueling in action. Oh god, they must have been terrified by that. Vroom, vroom, ah! When Hita, Tsurugi, and Valkyria are worried that Prue might try to do something to this place too. Is she one of the survivors? But anyway, that's Serenity's crew. Now we're on to Lego's crew. Lego, the former king of games. Sometime before this tournament, Lee was hit with a terrible vision from his Millennium Necklace. It foretold of a great tragedy occurring, one that would endanger the world and kill many people, and he saw justice could become the cause. However, he's been sticking around justice to try to prevent this future, but he isn't sure if he's too late to change it or not. Because of that, he and Buster Blader paid a visit to the spirit world and have trained vigorously. Were they in there when it got split by Zero Reverse? It must have been after. Changing Lee's deck to prepare for whatever threat could come next. He also feels a sense of sympathy for all the people in the slums, thanks to his own past life of poverty. He's trying to find ways to help them out, using his reputation as a past king of games. Dang right, I would. Which led to him befriending a group of orphans and a certain winged beast duelist that looks after them. Okay, everyone, Crow is actually not in this tournament. I'm just going to be honest, he's not in this tournament. I'm saving him for later. It's just too strong to be in the first tournament. It's Crow. But I love that everyone's building up his lore because he will be here. Michi, Takahashi, and actually she has a new pick. Don't just ignore them. They're new characters from later. There she is. Michi's new pick. Michi Takahashi. Michi has been fascinated by the advancements in technology that have occurred on the mainland while the cast was on Duel Academy Island. It almost seems far too sudden of a change to be true. Especially with these new synchro monsters that have become widespread. Okay, I love this lore. We needed lore like this. Wondering why it's happening. She feels something has caused these changes, but she isn't sure what it could have been. Before she left the island with Justice, she remembers seeing Zachary looking oddly smug and snickering to himself. She made a mental note to maybe check that out. I would. Dino Gray. Dino decided to explore the slums in hopes of finding ways to get stronger, thanks to some feelings of inadequacy that have formed ever since failing so badly in Dream Warriors. Especially when Dino was able to do so well. Oh, you feel like you're the weak link, Dino? Dino is determined to prove that her way of protecting their system is better, and that Dinah's is dangerous for them all. Dino has actually even met someone new that could help her get stronger. Plus, she seems pretty strong herself. Zachary Adachi. God, look at this thug, all grown up. A couple months, not long. Not long from graduating. He looks like this already. What the freak, dude? You take off the obelisk blue outfit, you look like this. I like it. I dig his outfit. Zachary Adachi. Zachary can't believe his plan actually worked and feels very eager to even continue plotting. Even though he still lost to Evil Novo back in the past, Zachary was able to manage some degree of changing the past. He doesn't actually know for sure if that's what's created these slums and the strengthened divide between classes, but he will choose to believe that to inflate his own ego. The Adachi clan has gained more power by exploiting those within the slums, Oh, God. We got the mob in the slums. And Zachary's father even sent him over a brand new deck that he could use to make an impact. Who's his dad? Is his dad showing up? I can't wait. About time. Zachary was waiting for the chance to throw out his old deck that kept failing him. And next character, here he is. I'm very curious about this guy, and actually, I'm hyped about him because he's a machine user. There's going to be a crap load of fellow machine users in these tournaments. Hank Porter, aka Scratch. Scratch is the owner of a local junkyard, and as such, has access to a lot of materials and old items, along with things certain people may have wanted forgotten. He frequently sells these items to customers, of course, in return for a large amount of money. He can't be providing his services to just anyone after all. Justice came to him in order to buy materials that Mitchie could use in their quest to try to keep Victoria's body in good condition and eventually revive her. He seems very bitter towards any form of rulers, like royalty or governmental parties. Even more bitter that he is naturally even more bitter than he is usually or naturally. Naturally. Sorry, I misworded the heck out of that. And that's already a lot. He made his distaste for justice very clear immediately after meeting him. But Scratch still managed to form a deal to sell scraps to him even after. So this is the old man he made the deal with. He figures the king must be pretty dang desperate. I'll watch my mouth. Andrea Everetts, where are you? You guys are later. Okay, she's at the beginning. There she is. The acting leader of the gang known as the Blast Brigade. That's a cool name. It's almost like the Light Brigade, but Blast. However, most of its members have been arrested recently in a major bust held by Sector Security Captain Tetsu Trudge. And its chief, the chief of the gang. Namely, the gang. I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying. But their gang leader's name or chief is Wild Dan. By the way, in this lore, it's already been spoiled now. Trudge is the chief captain. Wild Dan. Andy, aka Dan's adopted daughter, decided to take control of the gang to keep it together until Dan can return from jail, whenever that will be. We know how corrupt they are from the anime, from Sector Security Prison. She's even managed to recruit a few new members to the group, namely Dino, who was of course fully eager to show off how strong she can be and learn some fighting techniques from Andy as self-defense. Oh, her nickname's Andy, duh. So she's the daughter of Wild Dan. This is cool. I love this. This is some good lore building. There's stuff to look forward to later when we get to Sector Security Prison. Now, that is Lego's crew. Next is Mitchell Slaughter's crew. And first character is a new one, Dracy, in her human form. Dracy is the spirit world's goddess of dragons and light. She came to Earth after hearing that Queen Victoria had died. Oh, she knows Victoria? She worries about Justice being king and wonders if he is actually up to the task of ruling the kingdom. She chooses to stay with Justice's followers to keep an eye on him after Pearl and Belowski opened the Lazy Days Spa in Domino City, or New Domino City. Dracy takes Justice there to help him relax. One of his knights, Savannah Salamandra, also accompanies them there and introduces Dracy and Justice to the concept of massage therapy. Fascinating. All right. 25th and 26th slots go to the Preakness sisters, Agatha Preakness and Shikanoko Preakness. The Preakness sisters have remained close to Justice and Angelica for a while now. They continue to aid them in dealing with the loss of Victoria. Excuse me. Agatha and Shikanoko are still influenced by the phantom beasts behind the scenes, but seem keen to keep the PBs away from the royal family. Nicole Bordeaux, as usual, she's such a mainstay for Mitchell. As usual, Nicole continues to flirt with Justice. She's like 5. But she obviously graduated the academy. She's got to be old enough. She joined his gathering of friends just so she can be close to him all the time. This does not mean she doesn't chase after other boys. Oh boy. However, she's still the biggest flirt around and hopes Justice will hang out with her after the way she took down his evil dad in the dream world. She does, true. Daphne Dalko, one of Mitchell's cooler characters. She has been trying to keep Justice's mind off all his problems by playing video games with him and Avery Bond. Avery splits his time between playing video games with them, detective work with URIA, and that's an organization, and hanging out with Alice Uriel. Daphne isn't sure whether or not to consider Avery a part of the group gathering around Justice since he's only with them a third of the time. Pearl Raziel returns. She and Balowski have opened a spa in Neo Domino City, which they named Lazy Days Spa. The two of them are going to share their laziness with the world this way. The spa does have a secret passage in the back connecting to URIA's headquarters, so Pearl can discreetly leave for spy missions when needed. The passage also connects to Hannah's pizzeria in between the spa and the spy agency, so Hannah can discreetly have pizzas delivered to both places. Pearl also has decided to try using a ritual monster after seeing her big sis dominate with one in the graduation tournament. It's true. Max had to go all out to beat her at the end because she was crushing everyone. And Wisteria offered Pearl the counterpart to Demise. Seriously, Wisteria's performance was impressive, and then the semifinals completely wrecked. What the heck was her name? Sandbar? It wasn't even close, and then I thought she was going to wreck Max, but somehow didn't. All right, and now, on to my crew, my 6. The return of the Metal Raiders. AT, Oil, and Geo. They all 3 have the same lore. The Metal Raiders, long since forgotten, froze themselves cryogenically since they hated school and did not want to join the academy. And plus they were disgusted by Keith's betrayal back in, Waking the Dragons and Reshapes Destruction. So they wished to also cryogenically freeze themselves to wait for the world to rebuild itself after the events of Anubis, Darts, and Shoddy, so they could finally be the main villains. Unfortunately, yet another disaster happens called Zero Reverse that wakes them up, as well as splits Domino City into 2 parts. They no longer have Keith as their banner. It's just a big machine. A big machine. My favorite machine. So that's the 3 Metal Raiders finally returning, and yes, they all 3 have new decks. Very strong machine decks that I'm very proud of. Alright, so, let's get to them. New character. Nope, not you yet. Not you yet. You. Hello, Captain Tetsu Trudge. Not a grunt in this reality. More cocky than ever, and a much better duelist. That's funny, the autocorrect put cocktail instead of cocky. More cocktail than ever. He heard some troublemakers were wandering into his territory in the slums, and wanted to make a few arrests to get the ultimate promotion, and be lazy, eating whatever he wants, just sitting there guarding the current king of games, aka has to be called the Master Faster in this world, or the Master Faster. Next character, Tyke, has arrived. Hear that, sis? You're in my tournaments now. After she has demanded to be in tournaments. After she got wrecked in the Thanksgiving tournament, she has been wanting this. Tyke, simply known as Tyke. Or you could call her TT, actually. But Tyke. The sister of AT and personal royal bodyguard to the crown prince and would be future emperor of China. She is very intelligent and cunning in duels, extremely competitive and a fiery spirit. Lost to her brother a bunch when they were younger, is true. It really did happen, and wants revenge, although she did beat me a few times. She was shipped off to Japan by Nesbit when she was younger. She then boated her way to China and met the crown prince. And now, the final character, and someone very close to me. I have debated doing this a long time, but I'm including them in a tournament just because I want to. Winwrong, simply known as Prince Winwrong. Yes, we have another prince. Well, actually, Justice is a king now. Best friends with Tyke, was set to be the crown emperor of all China until Zero Reverse happened. Everyone in his kingdom perished, but he survived thanks to his mighty and majestic dragon dual spirits guarding him. Here's about a new land across the way that is more civilized, but accidentally ends up in the slums. Oops. So, basically, this is like a happy birthday to someone very close to me, and I just wanted to do this. I just felt the need to finally, and I'm including them in this tournament. Now, I don't expect their deck to do crap because it's very situational, but it fits their theme perfectly, and he would agree with me when he sees it. So, 35 duelists. All of us have 6 except Serenity. I will admit Serenity only has 5, but let's try to enjoy this tournament. The lore we'll have to flesh out a lot. We have a lot to flesh out. This is just the start. But let's just say for now, probably Zachary Adachi is responsible for Zero Reverse. But there are more factors involved. Like, obviously, cults are involved, and sector security, and the mob, and, the rich people that we'll get into next tournament. So, I hope you guys enjoy. Remember to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. The channel is Zanzana, and I shall see you for the next one. Oh, I shall see you for the tournament. Bye.